Miriam Lancewood, welcome to the South China Morning Post.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you've spent the better part of the last decade living in the wilderness in New Zealand. I guess what made you want to leave the material world behind?
Well, first of all, we love being out in the mountains. And we did spend a lot of time before we set out just tramping and camping, walking. But then we wanted to be part of that wilderness, not just an observer. And we thought, what is really quite a different thing to do? And we thought we want to spend just 4 seasons, see if we can survive, almost like an expedition. And that was only 1 year. Of course, we didn't know this would be 7 years.
So kind of continue there. Can you please, I guess, paint me a bit of a picture? What is life like in the wilderness New Zealand for you and your husband?
What life is like? Well, we're basically living off hunting and gathering. So we spend a lot of time hunting, gathering firewood, because we cook everything on a fire. And then we're just subject to the weather. So if it's good weather, we might go up walking and exploring. Might walk up a waterfall or up the creek, and we might find a little lake on top of the mountain that maybe no one has ever seen yet. So when it is raining, we're stuck in a tent, and we wait, and we might read a book. Some philosophy, a book that you can read endlessly and still not understand it. Yeah.
But what are some of the major challenges you face living in the wilderness? Like you said, you had to learn how to hunt. I understand you're quite handy with the bow and arrow.
Yes, I started off with a bow and arrow. And after 2 years, I switched to a rifle because I found it's much more humane actually and a lot easier. Yes, the challenge was hunting for sure in the beginning. Also the cold in the first winter in New Zealand mountains, that was about 1,200 meters up. Very cold, the waterfalls were frozen at times. We had to deal with that. And also doing nothing. Sometimes when it's raining, we have to learn to do absolutely nothing and to wait.
Was that something kind of hard to deal with at the beginning, this idea of nothing and dealing with boredom even, when you're so used to everything being around you?
Yes, indeed. And I found out it takes about 2 weeks for the mind to slow down in order to meet with the rhythm of nature. And in that time, you go through a period of boredom and restlessness. I didn't know, so we all found this out. And this is quite amazing because the mind is quite fast living in the city and there with technology. And there's quite an adjustment, psychologically speaking, to live in nature.
So you're in Hong Kong for the International Literary Festival. You have written a book and it's called Woman in the Wilderness. What is it like for you going from the New Zealand wilderness to, I guess, Hong Kong?
It's just about the opposite, right? The contrast is immense. It's very exciting. And I love to meet all these people, and I'm amazed